I'm the inaugural Latino Chief Inclusion Officer. So the big joke on campus is I'm the mero, you know, but that being stated, I feel that it's a wonderful time to be working here in Texas, and especially at that institution. Historically, it has not been inclusive, it's been exclusive. There has been a mark against it for many, many years that I'm very much aware of, that it wasn't welcoming to people of color, but especially blacks and Latinos from the Fort Worth area. For the last 20 years, they made an effort to kind of advance and move forward, and I'm happy to say that we're at 17% Hispanic students at TCU, which is an all-time high, and we expect that to continue to grow. And really rapidly. I don't necessarily believe we'll be an HSI, an Hispanic Serving Institution, within the next 5 years, but maybe within the next 10 is a possibility. So the question, and I'm going to talk about it as well, the question that I have for my colleagues at TCU is how do we become not just a Hispanic enrolling institution, but a Hispanic serving institution? And that's what my job focuses on. How do we ensure that every student who walks through the door is going to be afforded the same opportunities for both personal enrichment, education, and then growth, so that when they walk out into the world, they're going to be prepared to be leaders. And I think that's a really, really important thing that I want to really begin to hang my hat on. There's three things that I really wanted to touch on first, and the first one is the double whammy, I call it. This past summer, the Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action in admissions to higher education institutions. And then Senate Bill 17 here in the state of Texas essentially is erasing all diversity, inclusion, and equity-related programs at public institutions in the state of Texas. Already the University of North Texas, Texas Tech, Texas State, and the University of Houston have all completely eliminated those programs. Those are programs that were key linkages for young people to find a home for themselves and to feel like they belong in institutions of higher education. That is hugely problematic. On affirmative action, I gotta tell you, I'm angry personally. I'm the beneficiary of affirmative action. My brother, my sister, and I were able to attend the University of California. I got to go to UCLA because space was created for me. Nothing was given to me or any of the folks that I know who were Latinos that were going to school with me at that time. We all earned what we got. We've all been successful as a consequence. And I feel like the state and the federal government are slamming the door on the future opportunity for young folks from our communities. So it's a battle. It's a battle for us. But it also presents for us challenges and opportunities. I think that at TCU, what we're mostly focusing on this year is really trying to counter that chilling effect. And how do we do that? It's directly going to students and telling them that we have their back. That we want to ensure that their retention rates are going to be equal to those of everybody else that's at the institution. We're almost to a point now where anybody who is admitted and has need, that need will be filled so that students aren't having to borrow money to go to TCU, which is a radical departure from the past. It is expensive to go to school there. And yet we've created opportunities and growing the number of opportunities for Latinos, African Americans, and other students from underrepresented groups at the university to attend and be able to have the cost of their attendance covered. I think that also what we're trying to also understand is the new Latino reality. You know, the state of Texas in May officially became a Latino state. We're the first Latino state, of this size in the nation. 40% of the state population are Latinos. College registration, college enrollment does not reflect that at all. It's actually more than that today. And yet at the very same time, the state government took very, very concrete efforts to really kind of tell Latinos that they're not wanted, that there's not a place for them in this community. And yet you and I both know that the future is brown. And how do we then provide additional support and understanding to the community to ensure that those young people are going to be able to become the best versions of themselves? You have to lead with excellence. One of the things when I talk to young people, I've got to tell them, you've got to be better than you ever thought that you possibly could be. Because the reality is today that we cannot be excellent unless we are diverse. And if we're going to be diverse, all those folks coming in have to be the best versions of themselves. I think it's important for us to communicate that to our children. I know that the public schools struggle with that because they're resource constrained. We are hopeful that working with Tarrant Community College, and others like that, and other local universities, that we're going to be able to really provide a place for students to come. It's not for everybody, we know that. But what our hope is that we have engagement with all the schools across the area, sufficient enough to let them know that if they choose to go to college, it is available to them. It may not be at TCU, it might be at UTA, it might be at UT, Texas Wesleyan, or any number of institutions. The fact of the matter remains is that that's what we're about. It's not just what I'm doing at my university, it's what we're trying to do to reflect the needs of the community and put resources in place to address all of them. So that's really all the formal comments that I had. You know, the other thing I wanted to say, I've been in Texas now for 15 months. I love it here. And you know, I turned a job down from California to go back home to come to TCU because I saw an opportunity here, and it's presenting itself. You know, the fact that they took a chance on me, I took a chance on them. It's been a wonderful first year here. I'm looking forward to what we're going to be able to do in the future. Right now, I'm really also trying to kind of get us aligned more with community organizations. So you're going to see more of me. It took me a year to figure out budgets and where all the power lies in the community. But as a political scientist, the one thing that I do know that we can't win unless we're all in this together. You know, one of the things that I did when I was in Nebraska before I came here, I led voter mobilization efforts, really kind of modeled on what the Southwest Voter Project did for many years here in the state of Texas. And I'm hoping that we can continue to do that to make sure that all those who are eligible to vote are registered and are voting with regularity. So thank you very much.
Any questions? Preguntas? Go ahead.
I have a comment. I happened to be at TCU when Dolores Horton was there. You spoke.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there was standing room. And this woman is really behind people getting out and voting. And besides my being a member of LULAC, which I'm very proud to say I am, I also brought Marshall. I was one of the people to bring Marshall to polls from Harris County. They started in Dallas, as Domingo knows, and we go into the high school and we educate the students about the importance of voting. And then we register those that are eligible to vote. And we have been doing that very successfully. We're about to go into the Arlington School District. I was telling Maria earlier. So there are people that have this interest, and it's just we've got to get out and we have to work together with community organizations, as you said. So we'd love to, you know, anytime you want voter registration on your campus, call me. I'll get people out there.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Any other questions? Over there?
I'd like to make a comment. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Texas. And I look forward to you rocking the boat at TCU because it's what is needed. That 17% it's shameful to have 17% of the population being Latino. It should be more than that. And TCU needs to venture out into the communities where it's needed, for those underserved communities that have kids that want to go to college, but TCU has always been this forefront of intimidation. So thank you for being there and rock the boat.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, over here.
Okay, welcome to Texas. I have a question or opinion. Do you have any program to force to 100% to the Hispanic population about the school, the TCU? I know that's good, the school, and that's expensive, and that's okay. My daughter graduated from TCU. That's good, the school. My question is, do you have a program specifically to the Hispanic population?
So we do a lot of work in the public schools. Fort Worth ISD is one of our major target areas. We do have programs to get students to apply for scholarships. But we also want them just to apply for the university, because like I said, we're changing how we structure our aid to students so that it's much more accessible, not affordable, accessible. It's still going to be a high cost, but if we can provide them with full grants and scholarships on top of, you know, if they're Pell Grant eligible, that's kind of the hidden story of TCU. We've radically increased the number of Pell eligible students at the university in the last 5 years alone. My hope is that we continue to do that, because that means that we will be recruiting, you know, even in spite of everything that's happened with affirmative action and Senate Bill 17, more Latinos and more blacks to the university. We need to. Like I said, the future is brown. If you got your head buried in the sand, and you know, you can either live it or you can let the world pass by you. That's the kind of way that I look at it. That's the way that I explain it to the university folks, our trustees. Our constant education, we have to be educating these folks. They don't know what they don't know. And part of it is, you know, they just need to see the product of the, you know, Latino alumni at TCU, strong and mighty. They had a tailgate at football game. 500 people showed up. We're going to do it again this year. We'll have a mariachi and, you know, tacos and the whole 9 yards. Because that's who we are, that's what we do. But we also bring value to that institution. And I think that's the thing that I think has gone unrecognized. And the more that we can eliminate that barrier, and which is not, you know, perception is reality. The perception is TCU is not for me. We're really working hard to change that. So thank you very much. Congratulations on being a father of a good alumni at TCU.
All right, we're going to go from TCU and the Horned Frogs over here to Arlington, okay? So our next speaker graduated from UTA with a bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies. She got her master's from the University of North Texas, and she got her PhD from the University of Texas Arlington. And she is the first inaugural appointed Senior Director of Hispanic Serving Institution Services at the University of Texas Arlington, which she got in March 23. She's originally from Zacatecas, Mexico, but has been in Fort Worth High School. Let's give a big welcome to Dr. Maria Yali Delgado.
It is such a pleasure to be here with you all today. Again, I was born in Zacatecas, Mexico, en un ranchito, se llama Los Tanques. Mi abuela siempre tengo que decirlo. And I moved to Texas when I was in 10th grade of high school. I went to North Lake Community College to get an associate's degree. And then I transferred to the University of Texas at Arlington. So my whole life I have been working with Latino students, but in my whole academic career, again since 2003 that I started at a community college through 2017 that I went to the PhD program, I graduated with the PhD program. I never had that many Latino events or Latino mentors, because they were not available. So one of the aspects that I continue working and that my research focuses about how can we serve Latino students at our universities or community colleges, right? And I moved to, I was working at Southern County College as a coordinator of supplemental instruction, but also leading HSI or Hispanic Serving Initiatives. But in 2020, I founded a certificate program for graduate students. So it's part of the master's degree in higher education. And the certificate covers 4 courses for that actually we're teaching future administrators of how to serve Latino students, right? The importance of having, for example, a Dia de los Muertos festival at your institution. Something as simple as that you will think, oh, this is important, but then a lot of universities don't think it's important, right? And I founded that certificate in 2021. So then they hired me to come to UTA to build that certificate as a visiting assistant professor last year. And so I moved to UTA as a visiting assistant professor last year. And in this past January, they had this position of inaugural senior director of Hispanic Serving Institutions open. And I decided, to apply because I really believe in the program. And then they hired me. So my job at the university right now is really to institutionalize an HSI identity, right? UTA has been a Hispanic serving. This means that we have 25% or more of Latino students at the university enrolled, right? And so they hired me to come and actually implement programs to serve them. Because enrolling, like you can have 25% of Latino students at universities or colleges, but it doesn't mean that you are serving them. So my role right now is to really, I have this plan that I am focusing on 5 themes, which includes HSI cultural events. So for example, you're going to be hearing soon from us. We have an HSI, our first inaugural HSI National Week. So we're going to have a kermés in UTA, so the community is welcome to come. We're going to have food, todo lo que ustedes verían en una kermés en sus países natales. So we're going to have a kermés at the university. We also have a Dia de los Muertos festival this November. We also have always an annual Latino celebration, which means a Latino graduation. So again, remember, we are in Texas. UTA has been an HSI since 2014, but this was actually our 2nd year doing this graduation. And so we have mariachis at the graduation. We invite the parents to come with the students. We speak in their English, but also we speak on their language in Spanish. So we always invite alum from UTA to come and speak to the students. And in those smaller by smaller, we're going to be changing the identity of UTA to become a Hispanic thriving institution. That's my goal. And we also have academic HSI. So we have a center that is called the EDGE Center. This is a program for Latino graduate students. And we offer scholarships for graduate students, master's and PhD students. We offer them mentoring, tutoring, opportunities for those students to socialize and actually talk about their experience as a graduate student, because it is different from a undergraduate and a graduate student. So they are able to talk to each other about how difficult it is, or the challenges, or even the opportunities as a graduate student at the university. And so we are again inaugurating this EDGE Center sometime in September. Right now it's remodeling, but I already have the staff. We have a director of the program, the coordinator, the navigator, career navigator. It's actually starting this coming Monday. And so I am also hiring a coordinator for HSI institutions. So if the position is posted, so if you have a friend and wants to come work at UTA and help me with this vision of HSI, you're welcome to let them know to apply for the position. And I am promoting. And another important aspect of the university is HSI branding, right? If you go to the university, we are an HSI. But if you walk in there, in our university, you don't feel that we're an HSI because you don't see a lot of murals or perhaps pictures of Latinos. So we are changing that. And again, this is another goal that I have to change the HSI branding. You're going to see more those billboards in Espanol, that we are supporting our Latinos, so that we want for you as parents to send your Latino kids or children to our university. But another part is about HSI partnerships, right? And I really believe that the community, the Latino community, UTA wants to create this partnership with the community, but as equal partners. It's not just about, hey, bring your kids to the university. But it's more about, bring your kids. This is what we offer to you as well as an alum. We have a chapter as well. You can be active in the chapter. And they do a lot of activities together as well. If you have a business, become a UTA vendor. And we always are, hiring, catering for our events. So there's a lot of things that we can do with the community and the university as well. Come to our events. If there is anything, any ideas that you have about a possible partnership, come to my office, let me know, and then we can discuss it and we can talk about it. And again, The university right now, we are 32% Hispanic, which means that we are the majority of Latinos at the university. And we have about a 74% of retention rate of Latino students. But this doesn't mean that the job ends here. We have more to go. Again, Texas, we became majority this past, well, it wasn't past, in May. So we have to, the statistics, the way that it is going, yeah, you're thinking that TCU is not going to be good. You can be an emerging July.
We already are.
Yeah, right. So claim it. So it is, this means that Latinos are increasing, so it is going, we're going to have, we have right now 32%, so this means that more Latinos are graduating from high school, they're attending the community college, and they're moving to the 4th year, so we're going to have more and more and more Latinos in our university. So my job at the university is to make sure that, we have the resources for students in an academic support, but also to make sure that Latino students feel that they belong at the university, that their families belong at the university. So that's in a way my job. And so I'm very, very excited, and I'm thrilled that the university decided to hire me for this position. So I'm very excited. So thank you.
Any questions? I'm impressed that ETA is 32% Latino. Ya mero 50. Yes, over here.
Thank you for being there. Congratulations, much needed. With UTA being a public university, how have you received pushback? How is the school going to deal with the DEI ban from the institution? How is that going to linger or affect your area?
Okay, so the university, it is, they're working on following the law, because we have to follow policy. But at the same time, we are part of the UT system, so we are in a way working together with the UT system and see that, for example, the activities that we're doing that conflict with SB 17, but at the same time, the things that we can do or we can continue to do with our Latinos, with our students at the university. And I guess, not a positive aspect, because it's, it is very, in a way, upsetting about 317, but at the same time, we are a Hispanic serving institution. So the lens that I'm using with all of this programming, for example, it is about servantness, right? We're using Gina Garcia's servantness model. So for example, the Edge Center, it's a center for Latino students. We have a grant from the Department of Education. But we have, for example, you're going to see a mural, a Latino mural in the center. The scholarships that we're giving to students, everybody is welcome to apply. It's not just for Latino students. We have a lens of Latinos, but everybody is welcome to our center. The university has a much needed for graduate students. The graduate students need a lot of support, so we welcome all graduate students. Whenever we have a the Day of Dia de los Muertos festival, we're inviting all the community, right? Let's say that you don't care so much about the Latino culture, but you care about art. Come and see those altars. It's very artistic, very historical, so you can come from a different perspective. And that's the invitation that I'm doing. We are using a serving lens, but we are including all of our students because we want all the students at UTA to be successful.
That's awesome, and I wish other public institutions use that model that you're describing, because other public universities are just completely shutting it down and not having an option or plan B. And so my mentality is like, our kids, there's a lot of kids that go, seniors, high school seniors that choose UTA, that have schools to go, or they're choosing public universities, and now with this cloud of banning DEI in the universities, like, well, do I have to go to a private, public institution? But I think you're welcoming servitude at the university is what So thank you.
My pleasure.
Over here, Carlos.
Thank you, Ms. Delgado. Thank you very much for coming to our forum. We appreciate it very much. I love participating in these forums. It's in my council district, and this is my community. I was particularly impressed by UTA's efforts at, not just merely diversity, Hispanic diversity, but, tangible efforts, like the Yellow Lentils. Here, in this community, Jessup Roastery Theater, 100-year-old theater, that's been their wheelhouse. It's the only long-standing and running Yellow Lentils celebration city for more than 20 years. So that's very impressive. Many of us here, members of the police department, Ms. Martinez and I, we participate in the yearly organization of them. I would invite you to visit the theater at some time, perhaps we can partner. That way, we can help your organization as well, and that celebration is going to help ours. So thanks again, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's October 5th, right, Nestor? It's October 5th. Those ones.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. So from UTA, we're going to go to the north side. Our next speaker was valedictorian of Diamond Hill Jarvis High School. He graduated with a magna cum laude from a bachelor's degree from Midwestern State University. He holds a master's peace officer's license. He's been a sergeant at SWAT. He's held various commands at all levels. But right now, he's the North Commander. Let's give a big hand to Deputy Chief Pedro Kiki Criado and his staff.
Thank you, Domingo. If I speak too loud, I apologize ahead of time. My ears are damaged, so sometimes I can't hear how loud I'm speaking. Firstly, good morning. Thank you for having us. I want to thank LULAC for putting this together for the community to engage, because we all know that engaged communities lead to safer communities. Secondly, I'd like to thank Robert for hosting us here at Glow and Known all the time. He opens his doors just to have this. Thank you, Robert, for having us. I don't want to take up too much time, but I'd like to introduce my colleagues that are here with me today, because it takes a team effort, a collaborative effort to run a police department. I have my co-deputy chief here over tactical command, Dave Carvajal. I brought him so that he can touch base on the VCI, which is the Violent Crime Initiative that's been going on for about a year and a half to help fight or combat violent crime. It's my administrative sergeant right here, Joshua Rodriguez. He keeps my office running while I'm out doing things like this, and he's instrumental in helping me move forward. And this is the commander for the Northwest Division, newly appointed commander here, Commander Kim. I wanted him to be here so that if you have questions for him, you can ask him, so that you can really see his face and recognize him. Nestor Martinez, he's sitting back there in the back. He's our police athletic lead coordinator. Officer Nestor Martinez, can you let everybody know where you are?
Yeah.
Nestor is also born and raised here in Fort Worth. He's not from the capital of Fort Worth, Diamond Hill, but he is from North Carolina. So that's okay. He's from Fort Worth, born and raised. So I just want to touch on a couple of things. I don't want to take up too much time, but before I do that, the Los Muertos, October 5th, Nestor, Police Department, Carlos Ford were all instrumental in helping that event take place every year. The Police Athletic League, Fort Worth Police Department Police Athletic League is having a back-to-school supply tomorrow at 10 o'clock at 1000 Calvert. They're at the old police academy. So if you know anybody that needs school supplies, please let people know. We're going to give them out until we run out. Okay? I just want to touch base on and apprise you about a CAB. The acronym stands for the Community Advisory Board. The Chief Notes presented to the council and got approved and is in place now. It's a board that's put together for accountability, collaboration, and transparency within the police department. And with that, it goes in hand with our mission. We provide a quality service in conjunction with the community to provide a safe environment for all. This CAB, we call it the CAB for short, the Community Advisory Board, is going to empower Fort Worth residents to collaborate with Fort Worth PD in a working group to help make a just and fair treatment for all, while providing a safe community for everybody as well. Then we go into the strategy, which we're going to, that board is going to collaborate with the PD, which is the chief's office, the chief directly, and the OPOM, OPON, which is the Office of Police Oversight. If you guys didn't know, we have an Office of Police Oversight already in place. And that's going to help us develop a more transparent and fair, equitable process for the department. And that board, which is made up of community members, will be able to review and make recommendations for our policies and procedures within the police department. The CAB consists of 19 community members. I'll just tell you some of the members from civic social service organizations, businesses, faith-based leaders, and youth, and our educators, our professional educators. And I believe the chief just received 2 more recommendations. One from our newly elected councilwoman, Janet Martinez. So I'm not certain he's going to expand that from 19 to 21. However, they're going to meet monthly to collaborate so that our department is transparent, so that the citizens of this city have a say-so and can make recommendations on our policies. Because I can tell you firsthand, this is my 31st year with the police department, and we can't do our job without them. Okay, that's just a fact. So I'm going to say something here that might not sit well with some of you, but we can all complain and we can gripe. And I go back to what our educator stated here, that we're 40%, a little over 40% Hispanic, right? And we say we need this, we need that. It's incumbent upon us, me, you, each and every one of you to get involved with the police department, to help our police department have more Latinos. You see Latinos here, but we have about almost 1,800 sworn force. We're just a few, and I'm going to segue in and give you some numbers so you see. We can do our part, but we need your help too. This is my city. I grew up here. I love it. I'm proud of it. I live here. I still live here. But each and every one of you have family members, have friends that look, talk, act just like us, that can get on to the police department. Because it's imperative, we need a police department that reflects the community that we serve. There's no way we can do it without it. There's no way. And I'll segue into a program that Nestor's instrumental in doing with our recruits. When I got into the academy 31 years ago, you had that culture where the old heads, the veterans would say, you want to go work north side, Diamond Hill, stop 6, east side. That's where all the crime happens. You get out there, kick butt, take names. That's not the culture that we want. And we're trying to change it, and we are changing that. And one of the ways that we're changing that, and Officer Martinez is instrumental in that, our new recruits that are about to graduate the police academy, we set up locations, we bring them into our communities to meet people just like you, to let them know, yes, there's high crime areas, but there's great people in those communities. So you don't come out with that mentality that everybody in that community is bad. You're going to kick butt and take names. That's not right. We treat everybody with respect first. With respect first. But I'm very passionate about that because I have family here. Last thing I want is for an officer to violate anybody's civil rights. That could be my family member. So that's what I try to instill. I got in, I promoted as high as I could go. I'm in an appointed position now. So every chance that we get, everybody here in Nestor, that we get to get in front of new officers at roll call, we go to roll calls. We instill that. We want to ingrain that mindset, that culture, to regardless of the crime in the communities, 99.9% of the people in those communities are outstanding folks, law-abiding folks. Because if you didn't know, there's 1% that commits 90% of the crime. That 1%. So 99.9% of the people in our city are great people, law-abiding citizens. So it's important. Some of the numbers, I'm gonna let Josh give you guys some of the numbers, but I just want to revert back to that. It's important, please. You guys that have family members, our recruiting efforts are very difficult right now, not only here in our city, but nationwide. and I know I'm somewhat biased, but I knew what it was like 31 years ago getting on here. The obstacles, the racism, what have you, but this department has come a long way. I can attest to that. And part of it is you being involved. I didn't want to run away. I had an opportunity where a bad incident occurred in my life, my second year in this police department. My family was trying to talk me away from it to go back to grad school or go work for the feds. But this is where I grew up. I contemplated for 6 months. I stayed and I started moving up to try to make change from within. So it's important. It's important, please. So encourage your family members. If you know you know a nephew, you know a niece, you know somebody that would make an excellent candidate to be a police recruit, please, it's a good career. It's pros and cons, but more pros than cons. And we should demand, not expect, a police force that looks like us. That's a must. It's a very, very important. With that said, I'm gonna let Sergeant Rodriguez give you some of the numbers as far as recruiting. I can tell you that I've been very impressed with probably the last 3 to 5 recruit classes and the ones that we have in place now, because executive staff gets the opportunity to introduce ourselves to them the very first week that they start the police academy. And it's more diverse than I've ever seen in my entire career, which lets me know that the chief, we're on the same page, same mindset, and he cares about this city, he cares about this police department. I'm gonna let him give you some of the numbers. We still have a lot of work to do when it comes to diversity within the police department, and you'll see here. But I can attest to the last several classes and the current ones have been very diverse, with minority and females. Joshua,
obviously, go back to the start of 2020. The Hispanic numbers back then started going up. So for the males, it was 32%, and for the females, 33%. Of the recruits that we had. Coming out to 2023, the recruit numbers compared to 2020 have been the same. So, like you said, the executive staff has been influential thinking and one of those recruits for the police department. So that number is 30%, and for the Hispanic males and for the Hispanic females, 28%. So we continue to see increase in Hispanic recruits as well for the department, and as far as right now, as of 2023, class 456 is the same thing with 30%.
thank you, Joshua. Once again, we've improved in the last 5 years significantly. Those numbers have in the last 5 years. But it's not where we need it to be. As our educator stated, we're over 40% Hispanic population. The police department and every company should reflect that. Do you agree? It should be that way. Your police force should look just like you. And I'm very passionate about that. And I'm going to fight for that and pushing for that until my last day here, which is not very long from now. And it's kind of bittersweet, but I want to keep pushing and pushing. So I'm at the end of my career, but I'm going to work to the last day and do what I can. And we have good people in place like Councilman Flores and on the same page as well. We have good co-deputy chiefs that still have a good time to go before they retire. And we all think the same, and we're all on the same page. With that, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I want to let Deputy Chief Carvajal, he's assigned to the Tactical Command. I'm North Command, which is pretty much half the city. I'll receive the Deep North Division, Northwest Division, the West Division, the entire traffic support team, traffic, and air support. So if you ever have any questions, you can meet with me after this. I'll give you my personal cell phone number, and I'll answer that 24/7. But once again, your direct contact for Northwest Division is Commander Campbell. So I'm going to let him speak on the VCI, which stands for the Violent Crime Initiative, and some of the numbers on some of the stuff we've been doing to combat violent crime, and then we can open it up for Q&A.
All right, thank you. My name is Dave Carvajal. I'm the Deputy Chief over Tactical Command, like the Deputy Chief Corrado said. So, Tactical Command, what do we do? A big part of that is the Violent Crime Initiative. It's kind of a tough task. You know, I kind of took over that position dealing with violent crime about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, And even today, there's a lot of distrust in the police department. So put in a position, how do I battle violent crime while dealing with this level of mistrust? It's tough. You know, you get too aggressive on your policing, community pushes back. You're not aggressive enough, crime rises. You know, where's the answer? So kind of, it's really been a big paradigm shift, and it's like the Deputy Chief Corrado talked about. We have to start looking at these communities as just the people that are causing the problem and isolate those as opposed to the entire community. We do it in 3 ways: with intelligence, technology, and partnership. Intelligence and technology really work together. We use things like NIDIM, where we're able to track our shell cases faster than ever. So back in the day, we used to have a shooting. Say we had a shooting in the north side. Just say we had several shootings in one weekend. What would the police response be? We go out there heavy. You know, years ago we'd say we have a lot of shootings, so that means we have a community where there's a lot of violence. So what do? We respond with a lot of police officers. There wasn't bad intentions there, but as much as you were doing good work by going after the bad people, you were also having a lot of negative police interactions with good citizens. Like Deputy Chief Corrado said, 99% of those people are great people. But with technology and intelligence, we're able to drill down into the exact people causing the problem. We're tracing back some of these shootings, and you may have 10 shootings over the course of a summer tied to maybe like 2 guns. So that's where the paradigm shift occurs. So instead of looking at this as a community that is just overridden with crime, you say this is a community being victimized by just a couple of people. So do you put your resources and just flood everything? That's not an efficient use of your resources. You have to put all your resources just towards those couple of people that are causing the problems. Because just because you live in an area where there's someone doing bad things doesn't mean you have to have negative police interaction. Most people don't want to have any police interaction, which is fine. So we don't want to have to reach out and touch those people. So we use intelligence and technology to try and accomplish our mission, and it's working. But that's really what I have with the Violent Crime Initiative. So you can kind of open up now to any questions for the police department in general.
I know there's a question over here in the back.
Hello, I'm in Houston, Russia. I moved here 15 years ago. And there's a lot of big connected police department who are immigrant crime watch. And I'm volunteering there. Hasn't been chosen to blue, but that's how we commit to putting back into the community. I mean, the police department. I've been there now close to 9 years, and I enjoy it and I like it because I get to stay home. And immigrant crime watch, just you're volunteering with the police department, with your crime prevention specialist, which is nationally certified in crime prevention. And she helps you and communicates people along 25 homes in the block. And it works. And it works really well. You guys have been doing this since the 1990s, and I like it. I love my police officers. And these are just community outreach to the police department. You have it, we use it. So it's, you know, when you said we're not doing it, we're doing it. But I don't think everyone knows we're doing it. We want to be recognized, and we got funded about $2,500 this past year. And it really hurts us because we don't have a badge to say, you know, we're volunteers. I've been doing it for 9 years, and I've been asked. And I just want more work with them. That way, we can have our badge, people can know that we're volunteers. With neighborhood crime watch.
And you said, the neighborhood crime watch on the block. You want some sort of identifier?
No, when you volunteer with neighborhood crime watch, you're in charge of your block.
Right, correct.
And what I'm saying is that we've been requesting that we get vests, because so people know when we're delivering our items, because we deliver items. We deliver also Christmas, safety, you know, things. We want to vest.
Absolutely, that's an easy fix. And I'm gonna let you get with Commander Kim after this, and we're gonna make sure that we get you some sort of identification vest if that's what you're looking for. Thank you for that question. With that, it just reminded me to go over with you guys, who here has been on the Fort Worth Police Department website? It's been revamped. That website is very, very informative. For those of you that hadn't been on the website, go to www.fortworthtexas.gov, and then you go to departments, police, and then you just go from there, go navigate through all the tabs. I think crime and information is one amazing tab where you can set up your own crime alerts. within a mile range of your block, you say, I want to be notified of any burglaries, sexual assaults, shootings, murders occur, and you'll get emailed. You'll get notified. You can do that on your own. You don't even have to contact your neighborhood patrol officer. However, if you need help going through it, you contact your neighborhood patrol officer. If you don't know who your neighborhood patrol officer is, Commander Kim will let you know and give you their personal cell phone number or their work cell phone number that they're required to answer 24/7 to help you with that, to set up a crime watch on your block, to get involved with Code Blue, Citizens on Patrol. We have Citizens Police Academies you can get involved in. It's a myriad of options to get involved with the police department. So I ask each and every one of you, please, if it's incumbent on each and every one of us, get involved with the police department. It's your police department. We work for you. I don't care what other officers may think. We work for you, the citizens of the city. That's just a fact. We work for you. A lot of officers may not like that, but it's a fact. We work for you, and anybody in my command that I get an opportunity to get in front of, I stress that to them. We do work for the people. We're servant leaders, and that's the way we should be.
But we should support you.
Yes, absolutely. I will say that. Thank you for saying that.
There's 99% of the force that are good officers.
Absolutely correct.
More than 99%.
Absolutely correct, and we're probably like 99.9%. Just like I said, this department has come a long way. I may be a little biased from other cities, but we have an outstanding police department, and even more outstanding citizens that support the police department. Or we couldn't do what we do. Case in point, the CCPD sales tax. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the tools and education necessary to do what we do for you, and we do it for you.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of comments. So I operate a restaurant in West Fort Worth, it's at the corner of Brian Irving and Henry Boulevard. And we have a really big problem with some of our ill-sheltered community, not all of them. We have a couple that cause issues in the area, but whenever we call the police, it's either y'all don't show up or it takes y'all a very long time. And from speaking to some of your officers, it seems like y'all are very short-handed in that area. The other thing is we have employees that cannot work after sunset because they live off of Las Vegas, and one of them actually got beat up when they got off the bus in that area. So I guess one of my questions is, what are y'all doing to keep residents in that area safe? Because it's a real big issue, especially for our workforce. And then the other thing is, I did go to the homeless meeting that they had at the Wrigley Theater. I think it was Wrigley Theater. And I did speak to the council member, but honestly, I felt like he really didn't listen to me or like our concerns. So if I have an issue in the future, I'm not going to deal with him. But the other thing is about the CAB, with all due respect, if it's the same members that were in the newspaper, that's already creating a trust issue in the community. Because when you handpick certain people that we feel are not going to really speak up for our community, then that's already an issue, because those people might have a conflict because they do business with the city, or they have other conflicts of interest. So if we're really going to believe in the CAB that's coming up, y'all really need to pick people that are really involved in the community.
Thank you for your question. Now, I will start off with the last question or comment. As far as the members of the CAB, would you like to be a member?
Yes.
You would? I'd like to get your number after this meeting. I can tell you that the chief took recommendations from people as far as who's on, and I don't know every one of the members on there, but I understand totally what you're saying. And if you're willing to be on there, because he'll ask all of us, who do you think? And I'm going to revert back to, it's incumbent upon each and every one of us here. It's your city, it's your community. Get involved. Know the chief. Know us. Call us on a daily basis. I don't care. I will get your number, and I will mention it to the chief on Monday that you're very interested in being on the board because of what the concerns you just voiced. I don't know each of those members that are on the board. I have their names, I believe. He takes recommendations. He doesn't just pick them on his own. And the majority of them are people that actually reach out to the police department and want to be involved. So that's why I'm saying it's important for us to be involved. It's important for the Latinos, our people, to be involved, to reach out. That's what I'm saying, to take the initiative, be the one to reach out. That's what we need here in Tarrant County and in the city of Fort Worth. We need our Latinos to get involved. So we get, with my administrative sergeant, we'll get your number for sure, and I guarantee you, we're going to reach out to you. Guarantee you. As far as response times, I totally understand that. I'm not one to make excuses. The chief doesn't make excuses. You asked, are we short-staffed right now? Absolutely. But the 31 years I've been on this department, we've always done more with less. Always. Always done more with less. And that's a safety concern for us, but we do it because we work for you. So I'm not going to make an excuse on the response time. I will say that calls are prioritized by the severity, by emergency. But we do need to know, you know who your MPO is. And as far as your council members get overwhelmed too, no excuses for them either. But we're going to help you problem out your issues out there where your business is. I'm going to personally introduce you to your commander. She's on vacation, Stephanie Ricks. She's a rock star. She got appointed, I advocated for her. She's going to be here a long time, and she's a crime fighter. And she cares about the people, cares about the community. She's a white female, but she's very good. So I'm going to make sure you get to know her, and she's going to be able to apprise you of all the initiatives at LVT, which is Las Vegas Trail, along Camp Bowie, and I guarantee you she's going to help you out. We're going to make sure you have that collaboration and that communication with your commander firsthand, or me. You can always call me as well, so we're going to make sure you have those numbers. No excuses. Everybody should feel safe. Everybody should feel happy. Everybody should get that quality service no matter where you live in the city of Fort Worth. Thank you for asking that question.
Commander, asked about what kind of programs you're doing it from the police department, violent crime issues. Can any of y'all elaborate on some of those programs, if you can? What are y'all doing? Because we don't see it, right? But let us know how we can help you.
Yes, absolutely. You know, as we talked about before, again, technology is a big part of it. And a big part of it is we have had a big push in the Las Vegas Trail area specifically. The fact that you don't see it is a fact that we're doing it in a very different way. I know sometimes people see cameras in a negative way. They think that we're using those for bad things, and I get it. But what we use those for is to monitor places where there's a lot, just say, and near Las Vegas Trail, there's a couple of convenience stores where people just congregate, and it's known for drug dealing. So in the past, what we do is we would roll up with several officers, and then we start questioning people and trying to find out who was the bad, who was the good. Years ago is how we did it. So you maybe catch a bad guy or two, and you probably piss off about 10 other people. So now with the camera, we can watch, and we can see who's actually dealing drugs without ever touching anyone. You find out if someone has a gun, you find out if they're doing drugs, you find out if they're just going there to grab a soda and get out. And you identify those particular people, so when you do go in and address it, it's not a big bunch of police cars anymore, it's like they're going after the one guy. So some of our stuff is less visible. And again, our intelligence, I talked about our NIBID program where we're trying to piece crimes together. So in short, we're really trying to do things smart. And there's a lot more done on the community side. I don't work that area specifically, I kind of cover the entire city. But again, we're just trying to do things smarter with less resources, like Chief Grado said.
David, so those cameras are real time, someone watching those cameras 24/7?
Never know. Yeah, there's about 1,000 cameras in the city.
You can put 100 up around.
There's about 1,000 in the city, and we don't have to watch. But sometimes your deterrence is actually being there, and sometimes the deterrence is the fear of being caught. And like law-abiding citizens, for the most part, other people have concerns. They're not going to care. It's like you can put a camera in my house. I'm not going to care because it's trying to keep it safe. Other people, they may want to move their business somewhere else. But then again, these guys, they're not really that smart. If they were smart, they'd have jobs. So they'll commit crimes right in front of the cameras. They're smart, sensible, logical people. They would have jobs and not be committing crimes.
Like the commander said, it's only 1%
Absolutely.
doing the problem.
Absolutely. And those are the ones we have to identify. And that's really our mission. That's what our chief expects from us. That's what our elected officials expect from us. They want us to do it smart and be very conscientious and do it in a responsible way.
unless somebody else has a question. One about the crime district tax. Can you share how some of that money is spent to help fight this crime?
I can tell you that, of course, the city council oversees that as far as the CCP monies go. And it's open for people to submit applications for those monies, and they have to be a part of a crime fighting initiative or a crime reduction initiative and/or education to be funded, and that all gets reviewed and approved by the board.
I have a question. I got a complaint from my LULAC council in Austin that when the DPS troopers went there, they were basically put into the black and Latino neighborhoods. This is the Texas Department of Homeland Safety. So that 82% of the stops were black and brown, 69% were Latino. Latinos are 31% of the population. And that driving while brown or black was an issue there. And as a brother, who's a police officer, how do you deal